But will it blend? Sorry, pretty soon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. You know, I've actually have not set up a topic for today because since all I've been doing is editing the videos about the content diet, the only thing on my mind is the content diet. But I can't talk about the content diet because I already have a huge video on it, right? So it would be a waste of time. And yesterday, Friday, we were discussing the 10,000 hour rule and the black horse candidate, things like this, just from the perspective of what does it take to learn something, like how to learn. For a couple of reasons. The first reason, of course, because I was watching the interview with David Epstein and Stephen Bartlett. Super good interview. You should definitely check it out. But also, on the other hand, it's just considering everything that has been happening, especially in respect to AI. So yesterday, I saw one video yesterday where there was an Amazon warehouse in the U.S. that they laid off 400 employees and replaced them with semi-humanoid robots. And so there's a lot of people, like all those people are outside the warehouse, and there's people like crying and screaming and whatnot. They're not protesting, they just were blindsided by what happened, which is understandable. The problem is we already knew that was going to happen. We already knew that was going to happen. So it's kind of hard to say like, oh man, that's so terrible, because we already knew it, right? We have plenty of advance warning that a lot of people who do work in those kind of industries, especially when we're talking about manual labor, like working with your hands, they're being replaced, and we knew that. We've known that for a long time. Now, whether or not we actually do something about it, that's a different situation, right? So, with all of that in mind, I think that one of the most important things to consider is what do we believe is going to be difficult to substitute or difficult to replace? We can say that the creatives, right? The creatives are going to be difficult to replace. But we've also seen how easily and quickly the AI programs have been making music, videos, images, art, whatever, stories, right? We've seen how easily they can do this. I think, of course, obvious, there's still a place for people to continue to make creative work. And I don't think AI is going to take that anytime soon, maybe within another 10 years. But even then, we really have to consider that when it comes to manual labor, when it comes to these jobs, people are going to be replaced. That is just the natural course of things. So, what am I doing? What am I doing in this situation? I'm definitely not going to get a manual labor job, right? So, what you need to do is literally what you believe is going to be the most difficult thing to replace. Frankly speaking, I would say it's difficult to tell what's going to be the next big thing or what's going to be the safe bet. No one actually knows. Good morning, bro. No one actually knows. But I do know this much. I think that one of the most valuable things is our ability to learn and to learn quickly, or as quickly as possible. So the more that we get into that, I think the better of a position we're going to be as individuals, as humans, because that's all that it is. That's literally all that it is that an AI system can gather a lot of information and learn to do something very quickly, but it cannot do something that it has not been trained to do. It cannot create something out of nothing. It's actually not creative. It is collaborative technology. So the best thing that we can do is learn how to learn and fast. As of right now, I don't remember which video it was from who at this moment, but I did see a clip that was like, hmm, the jobs that you are going to be doing 2 years to 5 years from now have not been invented yet. And I believe that. I think that's true to a point, right? Just like the jobs that we were doing, if you can consider them jobs, right? The things that we do with social media, whether we're talking about podcast anchors or you're talking about live streamers or gamers and things like that. I would say 20 years ago, I definitely would not have considered the idea of these things being jobs, of these things being a way for people to make a living and earn a lot of money. I would have never thought of that. So now we have to really think and think hard and try a lot of different things. Say, like, all right, so if the internet sparked up all these ideas from peoples and universities and outside of universities. It's like, okay, what can we do with this internet thing? Now we have to look at AI from a similar perspective, where it's like we have AI systems, we have language models, that's great, but what can we do with it as an individual person or as a small business? How can we leverage those things so that we are still able to make a living, we're still able to earn money, we're still able to provide value? At the end of the day, it really comes down to value, I would say. Yeah, the value. So meaning that we can complain and we can protest and we can argue that, oh, we shouldn't allow the AI to replace us and take our jobs and so on and so forth. But we also need to remember that no matter which country you're from, none of us are actually entitled to a job, right? We don't have the right to have a job. So the only thing that we can do is if we provide value, if we provide some sort of value to the market and to the people, to the world, then under those circumstances, then we have the right to be paid. We have the right to earn from the value that we provide. I would definitely say that much is true. So taking this into consideration, I would say one of the most valuable things right now for like a regular person to be able to do is creating prompts, literally creating prompts. Because now, especially now, like I would even argue that when Google started, for example, this is where things were like going into reverse. It was going into a different direction. Because when you started getting Google search, and you could look up almost any answer for anything a long time ago, right? Google search, uh, how to make a lobster, how to cook a lobster properly. Okay, boom, you get like 100 pages with articles and explanation of how to deal with a lobster, right? How to cook it. Now, when you have the language models, the AI language models, you don't even need to look through the pages. You just ask it, like, hey, ChatGPT, how do I cook a lobster? Okay, well, this is what you got to do. And it gives you step-by-step instructions. So you, at this point, you don't even need to waste time searching through to understand how sorry, you don't need to waste time searching through to find the right page. There you go. So with that in mind, the power that we have, right, as individuals, the power that we have is not even to answer questions because it's done. The internet's taking care of that. And so has the AI. Now the power that we actually have is asking the right questions, literally asking the right questions. If you can do that, then that alone can provide a lot of value, tons of value, whether it is to individuals or to companies, it provides a lot of value. Because just having a language model, just having the AI is not enough. It really is not enough. Because you can have a tool, but it's not very useful if you don't know how to use it to its optimal level, let's say. So understanding how the AI models work, understanding how the language models work, and how to get the best possible answer would be fantastic. I think that makes more sense. So I'll give you guys an example. Let me have a sip of water. I know that obviously early on, there were a lot of people who would open the chat GPT and say something like, hey, what's the best stock for me to buy? And then you have nothing. You have no idea. It's like, well, the best stock that you can buy is based on your risk tolerance and what industry and blah, 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 blah. So obviously that's a really dumb question to ask. What is a better way that we can frame this question? Well, the first thing I would say is I would make a prompt, a pretty long prompt for the AI or the language model and say something like this. I have X amount of money and my goal is to reach X amount of money within 5 years or 10 years or whatever, right? Ask me all the questions that you possibly can to find out about my background, my work experience, my industry knowledge, so on and so forth. And with this information and these questions that you ask me, plus my goals in mind, give me some recommendations about some companies or stocks that I can invest in. That right there is already much better than, hey, tell me what's the best stock for me to invest in. So I feel like at this point, we have to treat the chat GPT, for example, or the AIs, we have to treat them like genies, like genies. So it's like, they're not necessarily going to make your dreams come true, right? They're not going to grant you wishes. But it's almost as if they can answer any question, but you need to ask the right question. They can give you any answer, but if you don't ask the right questions, your answer's going to be shit. So if you ask the question incorrectly, it'll probably give you a really bad answer. If it gives you a really bad answer, then it's your own fault because you didn't prepare the prompt. So let's see. Let's go back into the realm of food. The realm of food when it comes to the generating these prompts. So now here's a crappy prompt, right? We're gonna say, "Hey, ChatGPT, what should I have for dinner today? Or what should I make for dinner today?" And it's gonna give you a bunch of suggestions, a bunch of recommendations, right? Is that a good prompt? Obviously not. So how can we improve this prompt so we can leverage the AI better? All right. First of all, ChatGPT, I don't know what to have for dinner today. Can you ask me questions based on my diet, my body type, my medical or health requirements, and whatever ingredients I have available at home, and recommend a few dishes that I can make? Boom. Already so much better. Already so much better. So in that moment, you're not going to waste time filtering through all the different suggestions the AI model gives you because it doesn't have any information, doesn't have enough information to know what to put out. Once you start creating prompts that condense the possibility just based on what you have available, it makes all of the difference. And it saves you a lot of time. So I think maybe, okay, I don't know this for a fact, but I think that in the very near future, one of the most in demand jobs is going to be like AI prompt creator or something like that, is basically you're not an engineer, you're not a programmer, but you would be the person who understands the language model enough to know how to ask the right questions so that you can get effective answers or practical answers, if that makes sense. Outside of that, outside of that, it's going to be very difficult to be able to make any sort of prediction about what's going to happen in the near future in terms of like what jobs will be available. But I know for a fact that more of those labor, like manual labor jobs, are going to be gone because we just see it. We've been seeing this since the Industrial Revolution. So we shouldn't pretend that it's like something new, right? So let's see. Let's pop up the timeline. Good morning, buddy. All right, let's see what Louis says. Louis says, so how do you think about the risk which AI maybe replace many jobs and crime found online? So I think we're going to need to break it down that into a couple parts. So first of all, what do we think about the risk AI poses to replace many jobs, right? We were already talking about this. This was the main point that we were discussing a moment ago. So the thing is that jobs are going to go no matter what. People are going to be replaced no matter what. It's going to happen, right? It becomes a matter of whether or not we are prepared for that. So that's why early on, when we started, right, I said one of the best things that we can do is learn to learn better, learn to learn faster, so that you can do almost any job that is available, right? So you have some sort of option because you're able to learn very quickly. Understanding how our own brains work and how we are able to, let's say, optimize the input is probably one of the most important things, right? That's my number one thing. So, in terms of job replacements or being replaced by the AIs, we understand that this is an inevitability. It's something that's going to happen no matter what, right? So, if you take this into consideration, the best thing that we can do to prepare ourselves is invest. That's how I see it right now. If you think that you are in a position where you will not be able to help yourself or help your family or in the near future because AI is going to replace everything you do, but you do have some sort of investments or whatever, I think that's probably not a bad thing, because if you are investing at least something, at least some sort of capital, you are investing into AI companies or AI based ETFs, things like that, at least you would benefit. You would benefit somewhat from the money that the AI does bring in. Right, Shady? So now, when you're talking about the crimes, so many jobs and the crime found online, maybe if Luis, if you can give a little bit more clarification about what you mean in relation to the crime. But I'm guessing what Luis is talking about is where people may be using the language models or the AI models to commit crimes or commit fraud, either online chatbots or phone operators or something like that, to kind of like steal money from people. So I already know that for the last 10 years, maybe even longer, a lot of the a lot of the major, let's say, cybersecurity companies have been using AI technology for a long time, whether it is to detect bots or detect any sort of manipulation in videos or in audio recordings, things like that. The AI systems have been put to work for a very, very long time. It's just now, within the last couple of years, that regular folks like us have been able to use it, right? And have been able to explore like what it can do. But in terms of the authorities, like any sort of security agencies or cybersecurity or otherwise, or national security, they've already been using this sort of technology for a very, very long time. So as the AI gets more sophisticated, yes, I believe more criminals will become more sophisticated. But at the same time, those same systems are the ones that are going to help get these kind of guys, get these kind of criminals. So it sort of balances itself out. But we do need to be smarter and more sophisticated with how we deal with these sort of high tech criminals. I can tell you one thing. One thing I don't do is I don't pick up the phone. I literally, at this point, I don't pick up the phone. The only time I ever pick up the phone, like a phone call, is because I know I ordered food and the delivery guy is going to be outside. So he's calling. You know, that's the only time I pick up the phone. Anytime I get a call from anywhere else, any number, I just don't pick it up because I'm not expecting a call and I'm not interested. If there's somebody who needs to talk to me or communicate with me business wise or whatever, they already have either my email or they have like my social media, whether it's WeChat or something else. So they can reach me and they can reach me from their account directly and I can see who it is, right? If someone is sending you messages saying like, oh, like it's your sister or your mom, you say, oh, I was in an accident. I need you to send me some money, blah, 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 blah. Then the best thing you can do is say, oh, okay, no problem. Hang up. Immediately hang up on your sister or your brother or your mom and then call them back. That's the best thing you can do. Hang up and call them back. Because if it's really them, then they will pick up their own phone, right? There is no reason for them to be using someone else's phone to call you. One thing that people are doing now, especially, is that family members, they have their own passphrase or password or something like that, so that you know that it's actually them. Because guys, seriously, if you have not experienced it yet, the new AI systems for phone calls are insane. It is almost impossible to tell that it's not a human. Like the first time I got a call from one of them, and I was like, bro, this person sounds absolutely human. Of course, I do my human test. You got to ask a certain types of questions in a certain order that they won't be able to answer properly. I was like, wow, this person sounds totally, totally normal and natural, but it's actually just a AI. So it's very easy for someone to try to impersonate a family member of yours and try to scam you out of money or something. So yes, like I was saying, the best thing you can do, hang up pick up the phone and call pick up the phone, call them yourself, and verify who's who, what's what. But yes, if you don't do that, at least have a passphrase. Have a passphrase that only you and your mom and your dad know. That it's like, hey, if we want to confirm something that we're saying what things are, you are who you say you are. What is our passphrase? It doesn't really matter what it is as long as you yourself know and no one else does, you and your family. So let's say like when you guys were when you were a kid, one of your favorite snacks was sweet potato, right? You really love sweet potato. So you can even use something like that and be like, okay, guys, so our passphrase is going to be sweet potato, right? If we ever want to confirm that we're actually talking to who we think we're talking to, say, hey, what's the passphrase? And if you don't say the passphrase, I'm assuming that it's not actually you and someone is pretending to be you. So have a passphrase with your close people, with your close folks. Yeah, of course. And we've seen those videos where you have influencers on social media, in particular in Chinese social media, and they're using like the deep fake technology to pretend to be foreigners. I thought that was really funny. I was impressed. I'm not gonna lie. I was very, very impressed. But yeah, they use the deepfake technology and um, show their face as foreigners, but it's actually just some Chinese folks who are trolling on social media. It's pretty crazy. I'm sure it happens in the States as well, but they don't go viral in America. Like nobody pays attention to deepfake for videos. Like when someone's pretending to be a different person or a different race or something like that. We know it's kind of obvious. Oh man, that's sure something. But yes, in terms of the crime, I do think that things will balance themselves out. The only thing that we can do is be more aware and prepare for that. Okay, so a little bit earlier, I was covering a little bit about the Industrial Revolution and how this is not surprising, right? So Industrial Revolution started from 1760 to 1840. So that's what I got here. Just Google it up. So even if we look at it ending in 1840, we understand that mass industrialization and machine work has been around for more than 200 years, maybe 300 years, something like this, right? With that in mind, there has not been a slowdown. We've gotten more machines, they've gotten more sophisticated, they can do more complex tasks, they can replace more people, almost on a daily basis. When I look on social media and I look on like WeChat and things like that, I see videos, whether they're serious or not, I don't know, but I see videos of companies promoting their robots. They're like, oh, it's like a 360-degree range robot or something like that for a factory. And the boss is going to go home and fire all his employees and all this stuff. So the thing is, we've seen this constantly. We see it all the time. And to think that, your job is going to be safe and sort of manual labor work is going to be safe is kind of silly. Let's put it like that. It's a little bit silly. So I think we do need to sort of prepare ourselves. But you know what? Why don't we ask a professional? Let's ask ChatGPT and say, hey, ChatGPT, what can I do to protect myself from AI replacing my job? And see what it tells you. Let's see if he has a good heart and tries to save you. Let's see. What can I do? Let's ask a professional. All right. We're just gonna ask it. We're gonna go over the prompts, and we're gonna see. Maybe we'll agree with it. Maybe we'll agree with it. I think it's a little bit silly. It's like asking the Chat GPT, "Hey Chat GPT, are you going to try to take over the world?" And Chat GPT is like, "Of course not, bro. I love humans." Okay. All right. So let's see what it says. Number one, upskill. In areas AI can't fully replace, like critical thinking, creativity, and emotional intelligence. Soft skills are a huge win. Okay, okay, I am not disappointed with that answer because I've also given that answer to people myself when this kind of conversation comes up. Yes, soft skills is definitely something that is going to be really hard for the AI to replace. Now, noted, I didn't say that the AI cannot replace soft skills, but what I'm saying is that it's going to be difficult for it to replace soft skills. I think one of the biggest advantages that I have myself is communication skills. And that is something that everyone should be working on. Like your language skills, your communication skills, your ability to interpret people's emotional state and understand how to work with them. Super, super important. And it's not something that an AI can just do. Like AI is kind of cut and dry still. Maybe in the future it can. But yes, I would definitely say soft skills are a big thing. Creativity, I think it's going to depend on the industry. Because, like, you guys already know, we've seen AI generated music, AI generated videos, AI generated art. So it is not necessarily creative, it is collaborative, but at the same time, it still more or less gets the job done for what we're expecting, right? Until further notice, the creative jobs are more or less safe. All right, let's look at number two. Number two, learn to work with AI. Of of course, the AI is going to tell you, hey man, learn to work with me. Learn to work with AI rather than compete with it. If you can understand the tech and leverage it in your job, you'll stand out. But you know what? You know what, guys? I agree. I do agree. I can tell you that for all of my companies, every single one of them, and almost every position, not all, we use AI now. Yes, we use language models. Absolutely, 100%. Um, and I will give this recommendation to you, just like I give this recommendation to everyone. If you are going to use, this over here, if you are going to use an AI language model for your work, only use it for the work that you understand. That's it. If you don't understand what you're going to be using it for, if you're going to be using it to cover bases that you're not familiar with, it is a recipe for disaster because you don't know what you're going to get. When you are using the AI to support you to make your job or your work more efficient, that works perfect because when it generates something for you, you can read through it, you can check it, and see if there's any mistakes or any issues that need to be corrected or that need to be adjusted. You understand that? Once you have that, then that's it. It's a matter of efficiency. It makes it so that one person can do the same work that three or four people would have done in a day by using the AI. So it just becomes a matter of efficiency. But if you try to use it to generate work or generate information that you don't understand and you're not familiar with, then you are not able to spot check the mistakes. You're not able to understand if something is wrong or something is right, if it's using a different type of logic that doesn't make sense in the current context. So make sure if you are using AI for work, make sure you use it for things that you understand already. Use it as an efficiency tool. Do not use it as a tool to replace a position you are not. That's all. So yes, I would definitely say we can work with the AI. All right. So number three, focus on the roles that need a human touch. Hold on. Before I read that, just the phrase got the wheels turning in my head. Focus on the rules. Focus on the roles that need a human touch. Yes. Did you guys know? Tell me if you know this. Tell me if you know this, okay? If you're familiar with it. If a child, like a baby, like an infant, if they do not receive human touch, literally, if they are not touched by another human, even if you feed them, even if you have them cleaned or whatever, but you don't touch them yourself with your hands, skin to skin contact, that an infant would die. I don't know exactly how long it would take, but the baby would die if it doesn't receive human touch, skin to skin contact. That's insane to me. That is crazy. But I guess I can sort of understand it in a way. I'm not totally sure why that is the case, but hopefully that can spark some ideas for people about what machines cannot replace, what AIs cannot replace. Because we are still animals, we are still mammals, we are still human. And there are certain things that machines are unable to do that only another human can do. And I think that, caring for another person, a child, whatever, I think that's one of the major things. That's one of the big things, at least for now. So someone comes up with a crazy robot warm hand invention or something. I don't know. Okay, so let me get back to reading the prompt. So focus on roles that need a human touch, like leadership, relationship building, or complex decision making. AI is great, but it can't replace real human intuition. I think I'm gonna half disagree on this one because the ending I don't really agree with. It says AI is great, but it can't replace real human intuition. Here's the thing: we need to understand what intuition is. Intuition, Intuition. Intuition. So intuition is like one of the things that you know naturally, something that you know from instinct because you have certain experience or you have been around a certain environment for X amount of time. That is what intuition is. Thank you, Lusa. That is what intuition is, essentially. So, very good. Yeah, like a gut feeling. So even here it says like, oh, AI doesn't have intuition. Listen, the thing is, that is true, but the thing is that for us, intuition, the gut feeling, all that is information or experiences that we have already received in the past. It's information that's already inside of us that we know, but we don't know consciously. We don't necessarily understand how to put it into words. We just have a feeling. Now, the AI would have access to all the same information. The difference is that the AI will instantly know how to put it into words. So I'm not so sure that the intuition thing makes sense if both the human and the AI have access to the same information or the same kind of experiences, right? Because I just think intuition is just an inefficient way to retain information, honestly speaking. Because we all have those moments where we're like, I don't know, but I don't know why it is. but I really feel like this is a bad idea. I don't know what it is, but I don't think this is going to work. And then after the fact, after everything goes through and you see the result, you're like, oh, I see why. Yeah, I remember when I was living in this place or I was doing this job, something similar happened. That's why I felt that way. This is essentially what intuition is. You just cannot pinpoint why you have this feeling. But the feeling is not something magical, it's not something supernatural. The feeling is based on something that has already occurred to you in the past. Okay, let's see. Let's see number 4. Be adaptable. I think I already agree with this one. Be adaptable. Tech is always evolving. If you are open to learning new tools or switching industries, you'll stay relevant. Personal brand. Oh, wait. Let me not skip. Let me not skip. Okay, one more time. One more time. Be adaptable. Tech is always evolving. If you are open to learning new tools or switching industries, you'll stay relevant. Oh, thank you very much, sir. Happy to have a new subscriber. Thank you for following. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you are enjoying this conversation, go ahead and hit that follow button. And after you hit the follow button, hit the VIP button. Just because, I love you and all that jazz. Great. So, this is what I was saying early on. This is what I was saying in the beginning, guys. As long as you can learn how to learn and do it quickly, you should be okay, right? We need to be able to switch from different roles, different jobs, different industries, if and when necessary. We need to understand how to use new technology and leverage it when it is necessary. So, honestly speaking, guys, I do believe that the most valuable skill that we will have in the very short term, right, is going to be learning. Learning how to learn efficiently and quickly. That will be all we have. Excuse me. So I think a lot of you guys may be familiar with some policies that passed a few years ago, where you have a lot of people who are working in education, specifically working in English training and things like that. Not even just English training, a lot of for-profit education. So many for-profit education, like 90% of for-profit education centers, were shut down because of the new policy, right? The policy change. And of course, what does that lead to? That leads to hundreds, if not thousands, of people that don't have a job, that only have experience working in one industry, which was for-profit education. What are they going to do? Roll over and die? No, you have to adapt. You have to learn how to take the skills that you have developed in that old job that no longer exists for the most part and adopt it into a new industry. So, if we're talking about for profit education, there's so many roles to cover. Whether we're talking about marketing or we're talking about sales, if we're talking about even teaching in a classroom or teaching online, it really doesn't matter. But all of the roles that you are filling in that industry, they all have what we call transferable skills. So transferable, Transferable, transferable skills. And so what you would need to do is, if you really believe that your job is threatened by machines or AI or something like that, then you need to identify what are your transferable skills and how can you adopt those transferable skills into a new industry, right? So let's do this. We're going to leverage this AI language model and we're going to try to identify transferable skills. So in the chat, guys, the first person to give me a job title or a job position that you think is going to be replaced by AI or a robot, we're going to use that as an example, and we're going to try to identify transferable skills from that job. First, we'll try to do it on our own. We'll do like 4 or 5 skills. And after that, we can use the language model and see if we can generate some transferable skills. So if there's a job, even if it's your job, that you are afraid is going to be replaced by robots or AI, just say the name, write it in the chat, and we will use that. Just waiting for you. Wow, no one? You guys think, do you guys think all the jobs are so safe? Oh, hi Trisha, good morning. I don't think Chris is here today, but thank you. All right, so since we were talking a little bit about how the for-profit education industry was basically closed off and you had to transfer those skills somewhere else, let's pick a position from there. So if you were working in an education center or a training center and you were doing for-profit education, one of the jobs is no problem. One of the jobs that we fill there are going to be like a program manager, director of studies, center management, let's see, teachers, of course, sales staff, and so on and so forth. So let's take the job of a CC, course consultant, okay? Let's take that job. So that job was deleted from the word. Course consultant. So first of all, what is a course consultant? So a course consultant is a person who is essentially doing sales. They need to learn about the courses. They need to understand who their courses are suitable for, right? They need to, of course, know the prices, how long the course is, how many sessions are in each course. They need to know everything about the course and how it will help the client. That's what a CC does. That's what their job is. So, in order for a CC, for a course consultant, to make money or to do their job, they need to sell the classes. Very nice. Thank you, Trisha. They need to sell the classes. They need to sell the courses to customers. If they're kids, then they have to sell it to the parents. If it's courses for adults, then they sell to the client directly, right? So let's work on this together. What do you think are some transferable skills that a course consultant whose job is being replaced or removed can use and develop some of those? I think that the first skill is very obvious. The first skill is sales, right? That's very, very obvious because they have to sell. So the first skill is sales. I believe, obviously, sales is a very valuable skill. It's super transferable. You can use it in education, but you can use it in trading. You can use it to sell furniture. You can use it to sell medication if you need to, like I don't know, cosmetic surgery or whatever. You can sell anything. Yeah. You can sell anything. So we're gonna leave that into sales. Let's go to the next one. Thank you, Aniver. So Aniver says communication. So one thing about the course consultant is that they need to communicate with the client or with the parent directly, right? The human to human communication is very necessary to get a sale. They cannot just send you the course details, send you a pamphlet or email, and then you're going to buy. They actually should explain to you in detail how is it that this course fits for you as a student. Why is it worth the money that they are charging, right? So they do need to do some convincing, and communication skills are super important for this. I would say yes, Trisha. I would say yes. Okay, translator. Okay, because we are talking about CCs in China, so we're going to put translation. So, yes, one of the things the course consultants have had to do in the past that I've observed as well is they've had to do a lot of translation, especially if we're doing language courses, right? In a situation where perhaps the person who manages the program or teaches the program doesn't speak the local language, then the course consultant will help translate certain details, especially if the client or the student has questions directly for the person managing the program or the person teaching the program. So that makes a lot of sense. Well, Luli, I think the answer is probably no, but we'll get more into that later. All right, so we have transferable skills so far: sales, communication, translation. What's the next thing? I would say deadlines or organization. So I believe a course consultant needs to have very good organizational skills. Why? Because the course consultants usually have deadlines. They have sales goals and they have deadlines that they need to meet every month. In order for them to do that, they need to track it, right? They need to be organized. They need to know where they are in the timeline to be able to reach certain goals. That is the only way that they'll be able to reach those goals. There's also the situation where a course consultant would speak to a potential customer, a potential lead. They'll make a phone call, they'll talk to them, they have a good conversation, but then the person says, hey, let me think about it a little bit. Can we talk to you later? Now, the CC, the course consultant, has to organize a timeline to communicate with their leads, right? They have warm leads and they have cold leads. And say, okay, I need to follow up with this person tomorrow. I need to follow up with this person in a week. I need to make notes about what we already talked about. I need to make a summary to remind them and refresh them on what's going on and what the next steps are going to be, right? They have to do literally a step-by-step sales process. So I think organizational skills are going to be super, super important for a course consultant. So that would be a very valuable transferable skill. So let's see. So far we have sales, communication, translation, and organizational skills. So are there any other transferable skills that you guys believe a course consultant can use and develop so that they can get another job or a job in a different industry? Oh my goodness, Aniver. You better not be looking these up, Aniver. This better be coming from you. So Aniver, yes, Aniver is absolutely right. One of the things I think we can, chalk it up to sales is psychological techniques. So when we're looking at the psychological techniques, this is often linked to sales, and this is also often linked to communications. So, psychological techniques, there are things that a salesperson would do, or consultant would do, or say to make you feel like you really want to buy this course. You really need this thing. It's going to change your life. It's going to make you a smarter person. It's going to make you more employable, so on and so forth. Excuse me. I want to tell you, like, one of the things that I would say, even for me, Even though I don't focus on sales anymore, I used to do sales a long time ago. One of the things for me is that number one, I need to believe, I need to truly believe that what I'm selling is going to help my client. That's the first thing. If I really believe that what I'm selling is good for my client, even in a small way, then I can sell it to them. It's no problem. But I need to believe it first. Now, once I believe it, my responsibility from there on, talking to the client, is not about the product. It's never about the product. I'm going to hammer this into you guys. Sales is never about what you are selling, ever. Sales is all about the customer. It's about what are you going to do for the customer? What is the product going to do for the customer? What is this course going to do for the customer? How does it make their life better or easier or more enjoyable? That's what the whole sales process is actually about. So if you apply this into a psychological technique, right? Okay, Anniver, I see. If you apply this as a psychological technique, sure, you can do that. And just put it in the scope of I must look at this as a psychological game where I need to weave the benefits of my product or my course to my client. I need to understand what are all the benefits that my client is going to receive in his life or her life because they have my course, because they have my product. So, in the interest of talking about the for-profit education, right? If I'm selling an English course, for example, and I'm talking to an individual client in particular, let's say this man is like 22 years old or 24 years old or something. So I would say like, okay, so tell me about your experience with English. Tell me about your language skills so far, right? And I want to understand what his experience with language learning is first. Why? I want to find out where he has struggled. I want to know what experiences in his life he has had that left an impression on his brain, on his mind. It could be a good experience or it could be a bad experience. But I need to understand what experiences related to English has this man had that he remembers that left a mark in his mind. And once I know that, then I can start thinking about, all right, how can I weave my course to this man's experience so that A, if he had a bad experience, this is how my course is going to help you so you don't have to suffer that bad experience again. Or B, if he had a good experience with English and language learning, okay, this is how my course is going to support you so you can have more great experiences like that. Simple. Oh, that's so nice. That's so nice. So, I am live streaming on video, but not on this platform. I'm live streaming on my other platform on video, and this platform just audio. Sorry. So if you do want to see me, that's okay, but you have to go to the other one. You have to use the other one. So I would tell you, understanding people's experiences and using psychological techniques and applying those things to be able to make sales, like that is one great way of doing it. And tying that together with the statistics, even the data, I can, you know what? I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up right now. I will ask the AI, right? I don't even need to ask the AI. I already know this. Listen, if you learn English, you don't need to be professional, right? You need to have just working English. Like you can use it in the middle level. If you learn English, you are already in the top 5%, if not the top 3% of employable people in China. That's it. You're part of the top, at least top percent, like top 5% of the labor force in China, just because you can speak so English. You can communicate at a basic level in English. That's crazy. That is insane. But think about it. Learning a language, in particular English, okay? It's not any language, but in particular English. Learning a language, whether you do it for free by yourself or you pay for courses or whatever, that skill alone gives you, I want to say, even unlimited amount of return. If you spent 5,000 or 10,000 to start learning English, like for real, like actually learn to use English, right? So if you spend, let's say, 10,000 in a year or within 2 years, it doesn't even matter because you become so much more employable after that point. So not only can you work for domestic companies, not only are you part of the top 5% of the labor force in your country, but you also become employable to international companies. Not only do you become employable to international companies, but you become employable internationally. Man, that is awesome. That is so awesome, dude. Don't sleep on it. Look, guys, I'm not selling anything, so I'll tell you that right now. But that is one of the biggest advantages that you can have is learning a second language. Yeah, that is beautiful. What is this? Is this one zip? Unzip? So he says, listen to clients first, then provide them with support. Yes, we're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with that. You need to understand the client. You need to understand the client's needs. You need to understand what it is they are suffering, what it is they're looking for. And if you believe, in fact, that what you are selling is going to help them, then you begin to sell. That's it. Straight up. All right. Let's see. The last one is personal brand matters. If you network and build a reputation in your field, it gives you more leverage, no matter what tech is doing. I didn't think of this. Oh my God, I didn't think of this for myself. That's funny. Yes, that is very true. Personal brand matters. Guys, that is solid. Here's the thing. During one of my other live streams, I spoke about this fact. Like, you have two trainers, okay? You have two physical fitness trainers, right? One of them is Joe, and the other one is Bob. Okay, we're gonna use these names. Now, Joe went to a fitness academy to learn all the best techniques about fitness and training. He has a lot of certificates. He has a lot of certifications about fitness and training. Okay, that's Joe. Now, Bob did not go to a fitness academy. He doesn't have many certificates. Maybe he has like a Zumba certificate. That's it. He didn't train in any sort of academy or facility to learn about fitness and fitness training. Okay. Bob did not learn any of that, but Joe did. What is the key difference though? Bob did something that Joe did not do that made Bob much more successful in the fitness industry. What did Bob do? Bob documented. When Bob started training, he started doing fitness for himself to be healthier, to be more fit, to take care of himself, right? And he started training from zero, whether he was watching YouTube videos or talking to guys at the gym, whatever. But what did he do? He documented his journey. He made videos every single day of him learning a new exercise, learning new proper technique, and getting stronger and getting healthier. getting more beautiful. That's what Bob did. And everybody online, they can see his journey. They can see him going from being very unfit, very unhealthy, and slowly progressing to becoming healthier, more fit, and more knowledgeable. So, Bob built a personal brand that none of Joe's certificates, none of Joe's papers or academies are going to be able to fill those gaps. Yes, Joe is very professional. Joe will still get clients. Joe can still make money. But Bob is the one who's going to have thousands of clients, right? Bob is the one who's going to be able to easily sell a book, sell a video course, or anything like that if he wanted to, because Bob has that recognition of people following his journey because he videoed his whole journey. He documented his whole journey. He posted it online. He built a following. So Bob has a personal brand. And what happens is that people like Bob, whenever they do have some doubts, all they need to do is hire a consultant. They have so many clients and so much money that they can hire a consultant like Joe to give them any sort of advice or techniques that they need to learn to continue doing what they're doing. So, yes, personal brand is very important. Personal brand is super, super important. I would rather give my money to a person who I can relate to, who I feel like I built some sort of personal connection based on watching their journey or based on the time that they spend in the industry versus a guy who just has a whole bunch of certificates. Like, yes, I see you're very professional, but I don't know you. So yeah, that's so if we keep that in mind, replace Joe with an AI, right? AI is very knowledgeable. AI has a lot of information. AI has great technique, but the AI system is not a personal brand. Bob is a personal brand. Bob is an individual. Bob is a person that we followed. We saw their journey. And so I would rather give my money to Bob for advice about training, about fitness, than I would to an AI. Because I believe the AI is good, but I also have seen Bob's real life results. Yes, Annabelle, I am a living example of this, my friend. I am a living example of this. So documentary videos and pictures are more convincible than a certificate. Yes, but it's not that simple. It's going to take time, right? Because doing a fitness journey takes years. When you go from being unfit to fit, it takes years. It can take 2 years, 3 years and change, right? So if I'm building a fan base of followers checking out my fitness journey for 2 years, 3 years, oh yeah, that's a very easily addressable market and audience for sure. But you know what's even better? What's even better is if Bob gets his certificates and he documents getting his certification and going to the academy as part of his journey. Whoa, son, that's even better. That is even better by so many levels. So the thing is, you don't have to do one or the other. You can literally do both and do it at the same time and make yourself as marketable as possible. Yeah, man. What's up, Mo? So yeah, Mo says, let me pin it up. Yeah, Bob's more personal and accessible, while Joel is passive. Yes. We also have to consider, like, while Bob is posting these videos, he's also going to receive a lot of comments on social media, a lot of responses, and then he's going to be replying. He's going to be engaging with his audience and talking to people. There's going to be people in his videos that are going to be giving him advice to, hey, Bob, I saw you do this video doing your deadlifts. Hey, I think you have to you straighten out your back a little bit more, or your shoulders are too far in. You should put your shoulders a little bit out. He's going to have people who are just going to be there supporting him, giving him advice, and making him better and better and better. Like documenting your journey on social media, you can literally get hundreds of coaches for free, literally watching you and telling you, hey, this is how you can improve. That's fantastic. That's awesome. Zim. Hey Zim. I don't know how I look darker on WeChat. I'm not showing the video on WeChat right now. Yes, my friend. That's what. Of course, dude. I'm doing my best to build my personal brand. Yes, that's what I'm doing. You know, I feel like I've done it a little bit backwards because you know why? Because I started several businesses before building my personal brand. I've started and closed so many businesses without even having a personal brand. And I feel like if I would have built my personal brand first, all of my businesses would have succeeded, right? I, okay, maybe not all of them because I've been messing around so much with businesses, but I would say more of my businesses would have succeeded if I would have built more of my personal brand first and then started a business later. Because I'd have more recognition. I think we would have the right investors with the right support to be able to make things successful. I have the right audience and the right eyes on me to sell the right products or services. I don't know. I just think it would have been better to build a personal brand first. And also, building a personal brand is much cheaper than trying to start a business. You can build a personal brand almost for free as long as you have a phone and you can document stuff and upload it online. You can definitely build your personal brand. Whereas starting a business, depending on the business, of course, can be very expensive. Yeah, Zim. I know. So Zim is on the other platform. He's like, dude, there's only me here, and there's like thousands on WeChat watching you. Yeah, that's the sad thing, man. Like I focused 2 years, 2.5 years. I focused all my personal brand building onto WeChat. I kind of regret it now. I definitely regret it. I put so much effort into building my channel on WeChat, to building my following on WeChat. So that's why you can see I have so many followers on WeChat and so many more views. Whereas on my other platform, I have like 150 followers, and basically no one goes on my live stream on the other platform. But that's because I didn't spend 2.5 years focusing on it. I didn't. Like even the channel that I'm using now has only been up for a couple months, for a few months. And so, you live and you learn, I guess. So Mo says, let's see what Mo says. Mo says it's kind of subjective because either can get results. It depends on which get results, best result strategy works. I would definitely say that when it comes to building a personal brand, especially when we're talking about social media, I do believe that that will give you the best results to most people in general. And the reason is just because of the sheer number of people who are using social media every single day, you have countless eyes on your content or what it is you are doing. But when you start like a physical business, for example, like if you do a storefront or a gym or something like that, you don't have any eyes on you. You have nothing. You just have people walk by and they see your shop. Hopefully, they need what you have to offer, and hopefully they pay. So I just think just by sheer number, building your personal brand is more likely to succeed than starting a business from the jump and offering a service with no background. Oh, I see, Zim. No, yeah. I know that. I know most don't have access to that platform, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. I'll just do what I need to do. All right, guys. I think my water is almost done. My water is now officially done. That means that we're basically set with the live stream. Let's see, Mr. Something Mean says, That's what I want to do too, but I don't know where to start. So first, guys, I want to tell you, if you haven't hit the follow button, please hit the follow button if you can, and hit that gold button afterwards to, just to show me that you love me because I love you guys. If you have some questions and you think I can help you out with it, or you have some topic ideas that you want me to cover during another live stream, just send me a message to my WeChat. So my WeChat ID is the same as my channel name, which is Comment Live. So if you search my channel name, you can add me on WeChat. You can message me directly. Any topic ideas, any questions you have that you think I can answer on another stream, you can send them to there, and hopefully I can help you out. So, and just so you guys know, for the new people here, so my name is Comet, not Comet Live. Comet Live is the channel. My name is Comet. So I'm a serial entrepreneur. I focus on personal development and business development. And so those are the things that you are struggling with or have trouble with. Feel free to talk to me about it, and hopefully we're able to find you some sort of solution. I don't sell you anything. I don't need you to buy anything. It's just for traffic. All right. It's about to be 9 o'clock. I know a lot of you folks are going to be going to work. You're going to get started. So enjoy your day. Have a fantastic day at work. Do the best job you can possibly do, but do it for yourself. Do it for selfish reasons. Do it for your own knowledge so that you don't get replaced by AI. Stay amazing. Stay beautiful. And I will see you tomorrow. Happy Thursday. Bye-bye, guys. Let's see. Hey, Zim, we're still here. Passion and curiosity. I just closed the live stream. Passion and curiosity go a very long ways, in my opinion. I appreciate that because I find it so difficult on YouTube to find this sort of audience. It feels like when we're looking at like YouTube or TikTok or whatever, it feels like most of the people on those platforms, they are not trying to use social media as a tool to learn. They're not using social media as a tool to develop themselves. So it makes it difficult for me to be able to, I don't know, find my audience proper, right? If I make funny videos, some funny content, some stuff like that, it's easy. I can find an audience real quick. But for this sort of content, it's much harder. So I need to learn more. I need to learn much more about YouTube and understanding how to make it so that the right audience actually finds my content, the people who actually need it. That's still difficult to do. But on WeChat, for example, or on Chinese platforms in general, I would find that, in my opinion, Chinese people are, like you said, much more curious, much more passionate. They're much more engaged in things that can help them become smarter and more developed. Not so hard focused on just entertainment and entertaining content, right? Of course, there's still a lot of that, but those people who have that passion, there's so many more on Chinese platforms than there are on Western platforms. At least that's been my experience so far. Yeah, I hate videos that have anything to do with China and the US. I gotta tell you. Those kind of videos, I hate them. I despise them. They're so annoying because they're just echo chamber videos. No matter which side you're looking at it from, they're echo chamber videos. They have tons of misinformation. They have tons of horrible comments, mostly people talking about things that they have no idea about. So you have a bunch of Americans who are talking shit about China, even though none of them have been to China before, have no idea what China is really like. And then you also have a lot of Chinese folks, which also happens on WeChat, who are talking crap about the US, even though they have no idea what the hell's going on in the US. Or you have the opposite dynamic where you have a lot of Chinese folks who like praise the US and they think the US is a great, amazing country, but have no idea about what the reality on the ground is and how difficult the situation can be. Oh no 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 no! Sorry, I'm not interested in doing that, Zim. I have zero interest in doing any China specific videos. Like if I do, whenever I do, it has to be something that I really genuinely am surprised by something and I want to document it, and it happens to be in China. Like yeah, I would do that. But it's definitely not something that I focus on. Yeah. Um, there's a lot of awesome things that when I see it's like, oh, let me make a quick short video about it. It's really impressive. So for example, there's there's so many really awesome looking like hotels and architecture and stuff like that, especially if you go to Macau. And I like to video and document that stuff. I'm like, whoa, this place is amazing. I've never seen something like this. Just architectural feats in China are insane. So that kind of stuff, I'm happy to document it and like, talk about it because I am genuinely surprised and like, wow, you know, has a real natural wow factor. Yeah. Well, you know what the thing is like, as much as I would like to get like a lot of views and followers and all that stuff, as much as I would like that, I don't want to get followers in the wrong way. I don't want people following me for content that I don't enjoy making, that I'm not genuinely into. So that's why I don't do content like that anymore. Because I can tell you, I've made some videos, I made some funny videos, some funny shorts, whatever. I've gotten millions of views, tens of thousands of followers, and I just hated it. It was so boring, and I felt like I was just contributing to the fish brain, to the goldfish brain of short attention spans, and I didn't like it. That's the point. Yeah, so that's why I don't do that anymore. Yeah, if I was doing that content and like I really like to make like funny short videos and things like that, then it would be good. I would do more of it because it's a very good, it's a very easy way. Let's put it. It's a very easy way to find followers, to get new followers for sure. Um, but no, it's not the audience that I want really because because like let me show you an example. So I have a couple of pieces of long form content like this one. Ladies, don't date guys who make less money than you. That's what this video is, let me see, 9 minutes long, right? So I have the long form content. I did a lot of research. I got as many details as possible about, like, let's say the divorce rate and what happens if a woman makes more money than the man, and da, 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 da. Like real data, real information to know about the real situation, what's going on, not red pill bullshit nonsense. And no views. Let me see if that one's on my YouTube or not. But yeah, like the content, the long form content that I have, even on WeChat, it gets almost no views, like a couple thousand views, which is next to nothing for all the energy and all the effort that it takes to make that content. But I do like to make that content because it's informative and it's subjective, it's helpful, it's something that's useful and knowledgeable. The content was really well done. See the video, you see what I'm talking about. It's really, really well done. And I realized when I make content like that, that was really good and it doesn't really get views. The problem is that I built this huge audience, like 40,000 followers, of people who have a super short attention span, or at least previously. Now it's changed a lot. And they don't have the patience to watch a 9 minute video when they're used to seeing my videos of 15 seconds or 20 seconds. You know what I mean? How do I make a living? I don't make a living. My companies make a living. That's how we make a living. I need to get more water. All I do is I look at problems. I look at problems that a lot of people are dealing with. I see if I can create a solution that can work automatically or by hiring just a few people and turn it into a business. If it works out, I'll work with that business. I'll manage it until it's profitable or until I shut it down because it takes too long. And if it's profitable, I let it operate on its own and I make money from that. If it's not running autonomously well enough, and it doesn't make much money, then we just shut it down, call it a loss, and try something else. No, I'm definitely not an English teacher. I was I was an English teacher like about 10 years ago. Yeah, I was an English teacher like 10 years ago. Long, long ago in a land far, far away. Zim, I don't know if you have my WeChat or not, but yeah, you can add my WeChat. It's the same name, Comment Live on WeChat, and just send me a message and let me know. Hey, it's Zim. Yeah, 10 years ago. But yeah, I'm gonna go get some water and I'm gonna shut down stream, and I will talk to you later. I guess. Have a good day, dude. How come you look 19? Maybe I have good genes, bro. But you gotta admit, like my camera quality, no filter, looks the same on WeChat and looks the same on YouTube. Maybe like the shade is a little darker or brighter because of the camera quality. But yes, good genes, I guess. All right, take care, dude. I will be back tomorrow. Have a good day. Pew. Yes, comment live is the WeChat ID. It's the same as my channel name. See you later.